Hello, my name is Kate Jones, and this is the introduction presentation for Module 1 for School and Community Relations. Um, so I'm from Brooklyn, New York. I don't know if you could tell by my accent, but I have a bachelor's in journalism from Brooklyn College, as well as a master's in social studies education 7 to 12 from Brooklyn College as well. Um, for a couple of years after graduation, worked as a director of community affairs for a New York State senator before quickly realizing that it was not for me, and turning to education, where I have been significantly happier. I've spent my 9 years teaching at St. Edmund Preparatory High School here in Brooklyn, mostly history. For the last 5 years, I have also been the IB Diploma Program Coordinator, and as of this year, I have added the Department Chair for Social Studies, Mathematics, and Religion. I'm also a mom full time. So my son Richie is 5 years old. He is on the autism spectrum and has an individualized education plan. He's incredibly bright, but struggles also with ADHD and some social anxiety. So he, in himself, has made me very interested in educational administration and special ed, even though that has not been my primary educational job. As an administrator, obviously, and as a teacher, I'm working with children with IEPs, but I don't actually have a whole lot of knowledge beyond what I've experienced with my own son. But I've found that that's actually quite a bit now. So that's been great. But it has its challenges at home. However, it's also been very enlightening, and he's a great joy. My son Brian is 2 and also has some delays, and that will result in an IEP. He is currently getting speech, occupational therapy, and physical therapy. I've also been married for almost 10 years. To my husband, Rich, not my son. That's creepy. Importance of school community relations. I work in a Catholic school, so our students pay tuition. That has its challenges in itself because the cost of running a school combined with what the income of our families and nearby are, it doesn't necessarily match up. We're not a school for affluent people in any way. Our students are mostly the children of blue collar workers, predominantly sons and daughters of police officers and firemen, and Caribbean immigrants. So they have their own unique challenges, and the families have challenges. So being able to communicate what it is that we can do for them, providing them Caritas, which is it's our motto here. It's loving compassion through Christ. This idea that when they come here, they are getting more than just an education. They are also getting support. They are also getting love. Communicating our shared goals. We want their kids to succeed as much as they want their kids to succeed, or almost as much, and in some cases more. We see the chance in every kid, and we do our best to provide services that meet the individual needs of our students. So being able to communicate that has unique challenges, but we feel at our school we've been able to get it across, and this is something I think should be at any school. Important methods. So mostly for communication and collaboration. I found at our school that our professional learning communities and our collaborative planning time has been good. Our administrators did set aside 2.5 hours a month for all teachers to be planning. Don't use this time for grading. Don't use this time for anything else. Just make sure that we are meeting with each other, talking to each other about our curriculums, and making sure that we are in line with each other. And I think that that's been helpful. Before this time, I feel that we are teaching in a bubble. We're each doing what we thought was best. Now we're starting to see more everything being more in sync from classroom to classroom. And I think that's largely because of the PLCs and collaborative planning time. Communication, again, with a community that is mostly blue collar workers, people who are working a lot of overtime. Sometimes the parents aren't here as much as we would like them to be. And we get it. We understand why that is. I'm not at my son's school as much as I would like to be because I'm working. So we are doing our best to make sure they know that we are hearing their concerns and that we, even if they don't express concerns, we want them to know that we are able to communicate with them. So we make sure that they have access to our Google Classrooms. We send group and personal emails. I in particular send a group email usually once every other week, just updating my freshman and sophomore parents as to where we are in our curriculum. And that has been tremendously helpful in terms of teacher, parent, and administrator parent contact. Our administrators always have an open door for our parents. So as long as the parents might have to wait a few minutes, but as long as the parents are looking to see an administrator, they will have access to the administrator. As for teacher administrator communication, our administrators always hear us. We can call them, we can leave them messages, we can send them emails. That's how we would contact them about an individual concern. One of the things that we had struggled with was communicating important things between each other. Sometimes there are things that were happening in the school that maybe other teachers weren't as aware of. So we started something called a faculty forum. So every Tuesday morning, we would meet and talk about the things that are going on in our individual clubs, our individual classrooms within the IB program, so that the teachers can share with each other and the teachers are sharing with the administrators. The administrators have made it a point not to kind of hijack this time, that it is strictly for the teachers to share what they think is important with the other teachers and the administrators. And this has been a great success so far. We've also seen that the importance of school communication and collaboration is highly contingent on our camaraderie and our spirit within the building. We need shared goals. We have shared goals. We all want the best for our students. So how is it that we have to communicate that? Well, from teacher to administrator, having open communications, I believe, is very helpful. Teacher to teacher, understanding that when we are sharing with each other, no one is being critical of how things are being done in other classrooms. Instead, we're hearing it and we're taking what others do as well. I think it's like when we were teaching in that bubble, that people get used to doing things the way that they've always done them, and to be able to say, I'm not saying that is wrong, but to say, let's take that and let's try something else as well. I think that fostering the environment where that is okay to say is very important. But also being there for our students. If the students know that they have a place to hang their hat in our classroom, and that they can come in and they can sit down and that they can feel truly at home, that will increase communication, it will increase spirit, and that is very important to the school in itself. And that the administrators also have that relationship with students. Sometimes the big scary assistant principal, is only there to, lay down a punishment or send someone to detention, or to say, listen, you're not doing so good in your classes. If that administrator and student have a relationship where the administrator can sit down and be like, listen, you're not doing so good, what can we do to change that? I believe that will greatly increase communication, and that will also in turn make the school a better place. So that is it. And thank you for listening. And I look forward to this class with you. Thank you.